Live from the Pines, your favorite East Texas sports podcast. Come at you live tonight. Tonight we have a special guest, Lufkin High School Offensive Coordinator, Coach Matt Kuykendall. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing great, sir. It's a pleasure to be sitting here with you and having you on the show tonight. We thank you for being here and being a part of Lufkin now. How's Lufkin been so far?
It's been awesome. It's been really, really awesome. We've been welcomed by some really, really good people. The community seems like they're really excited to have us here, and that's a great feeling. It's always great to be wanted.
That's very true, and the people of Lufkin, when it comes to Lufkin football, we get very excited, and it goes a long way. And I'm sure you guys will feel the Lufkin Panther spirit pretty soon.
Yes, sir. The tradition rich and really, really fired up for football every day. It seems like.
Well, Coach Kuykendall, you're a familiar face. You're a new face to Lufkin. Tell us a little bit about you and your career and how you got to here.
I was born in Waxhaw, North Carolina. I went to Campbell University. I did a GA in Pennsylvania at East Stroudsburg University. Then I moved to Texas, got my teaching cert, got a job at Midland Legacy High School at the semester in January of 2016. And then after that first semester there, I ended up getting a job at Cedar Park High School with Coach Absek, and I have been following him around ever since. I started as his running backs, tight ends coach, moved to offensive line, special teams coordinator, and then when we moved to Barber Hill, I became his offensive coordinator.
Coach Kuykendall, coming to the offensive side of the ball, coaching O-line and all the other things you did. What do you like about the offensive side of the ball the most?
You get to be really creative. You get to do interesting things, and it's a chess match. It's always the back and forth between what a defense is going to give you, what they're going to try to take away, and then trying to exploit that weakness that they have created. They can only cover so much, and finding what they can't cover is probably the most interesting, fun part.
Well, 3 out of the 4 years of your time at Barber Hill, you did have the highest scoring offense. Talk a little about that and, the key elements of that and what you did to make that successful.
Well, it starts with we had really, really good kids. I mean, we had really, really good athletes there who bought into what we were doing offensively. They were all behind all the interesting, cool things that we did. They wanted to do it. They were part of it, and they really kind of bought into it, and they figured it out. And once they did, we kind of got that thing rolling. And we had some really, really good coaches. I had a really, really good quarterbacks coach. And I had a really couple of good assistants that did a very, very good job of also getting the kids to buy in and buying in themselves to the things that we were trying to do. And we really just took off.
That's great. So as far as, being here in Lufkin, you've probably been here, a month and a half, almost 2 months.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the things you've seen with our program and our kids so far that, sticks out?
The kids want us to be there. I feel like every day we show up, they're excited that we're there. And I think that matters a whole lot. It feels good to be wanted. It feels good to have kids that are excited to see you on a daily basis, even when there's going to be things that go wrong. There's going to be things that they're not on their best day. But every day when they come down to athletics, they're fired up to see us. The people in the community have been really, really great. I mean, me and Coach Absek went to 2 baseball games the other day. And I don't know that I saw a single pitch of baseball actually get thrown because people wanted to come up and talk to us and have conversations to talk about the things that we're going to do and what we're trying to build here and the direction going forward.
That's great. So, Coach, coming to Lufkin, the program Lufkin has and the stored, athletic programs we put out in the past, what do you know about Lufkin?
I know about Des Bryant. I was at the Odell Beckham catch game in New York, and very few people know that at the very end of that game, Tony Romo drove him down the field. And Des Bryant was a big part of that team back there in the day. I knew about Jaworski Lane, and I worked with a guy named Alton Dixon at Barber Hill that's also a Lufkin alum, and Chris Colley, who's also a Lufkin alum. I knew it was an East Texas town, or Beast, Texas, as I guess they call it out here. Yeah. And I knew it was tradition rich, and I remember coming to the game being excited the first time we came up here to play last year, being excited about the fact, like, I'm walking on the field that Des Bryant was on. I mean, I think that's cool. I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life, and so that was kind of a big deal for me.
That's huge. And like you said, the Lufkin greats, Jaworski Lane, Des Bryant, Kiki QT, Eric McCoy, Terrence Keel, the list goes on forever, Ralph Thomas. And, we produced a lot of athletes, a lot of talent in the past. Lufkin has been known, for fast, superior offense, and that's what we've done. We put up points. We had the athletes to make those plays and, do those things. And like you said, you look to see those things continue.
Right.
Looking in now from the athletes you have there that are going to be out there next year, come August, we play Longview. The speed's there.
Yes, sir.
The athleticism's there. Offensive line, we're something we've been building, and I believe you return a lot of those guys back on the offensive line. What is something we could see from you with a new, face of offense?
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be up tempo. You guys out there that watch college football, watch the NFL. If you see something cool on a Saturday or Sunday, best believe that on that next Friday, Lufkin's going to try to do it on offense. We're going to have trick plays. We're going to go up tempo. We're going to do everything we can because we care. At the end, the 3 out of the 4 years is great. That's cool, but I want it to translate to wins. I want to win. So whatever we have to do to win, best believe that's what we're going to do.
And returning some of the kids back we had from last year. You get a great running back that ran for 1,000 yards last year, Keyshawn Waters. Is that Kenneth Waters?
It's Kenneth Waters.
Kenneth Waters. I'm sorry. His brother played defense. Keyshawn.
Yes, sir. Keyshawn.
He's a heck of a player also. And then you have Javion Johnson coming back at the quarterback position. In Lufkin, the quarterback position is a legacy position. It has been. We had DeAndre Smiley, Reggie McNeil, Tyler Stubblefield. The list goes on with the greats, Cordell Rogers, and many more. What can we expect out of Javion? We all know he can run. We all know he can sling it. We haven't got a chance to really just see him, but this should be a big breakout year for him.
Yeah, I think the thing that probably is the least heralded about him that people don't know, of course, he can throw it a little bit, he can run it a little bit, but he's a great leadership guy. I mean, he's in the weight room and he's encouraging people. He's talking them through it. He's not just shying away in the corner. Hey, I'm going to go do my work and then I'm going to be done. He talks to kids. He is going to be a great leader of men for us this coming year.
And that's what we look forward to. The tradition in Lufkin is win football games. Win district, play Thanksgiving, and win a state championship. That's everybody's goal going into the season. And looking at the kids we return and the kids we have coming up, we have the kids to do it. And, with Coach Absek and you guys all coming in and, basically doing things y'all's way, a new way. It's a new face to Lufkin. It's something we haven't seen before, and it's exciting.
Yes,
it's exciting to the kids. It's exciting to the community, the fans, and everybody. Every time you get a new coach in and he brings the staff, you want to know them, you want to meet them, and you want to see what they do. And I think y'all are doing a great job showcasing that. As for, we saw today on Twitter, Coach Abs say, come watch the pack, come see us practice, come see us, spring game. It's going to be big. It's going to be cool. Get to see the kids, get to learn the kids because they're going to do some exciting things this year. And, it's not easy.
No.
And we talked about that today. All the, hard work that goes on in the practice, springtime, summertime, all those things that go in make a big difference. And I think our kids are really ready to buy in and make these things happen.
Yeah, they seem really, really excited. Like I said earlier, they're excited to see us every day. There's no better salesman for a program than Coach Absek. I told Dr. Hockenberry today that I came up for the first time that he couldn't have picked a better guy to come lead the program because that's just who he is. He's dynamic. He brings ideas. He brings ways of making those ideas come to life. And then he allows us the autonomy and freedom to go in and be the offense and the defense that we need to be to score a bunch of points and hold people to very few points and go and win as many ball games as we possibly can.
In your past coaching stops, you've had great teams. Cedar Park, Barbers Hill, and any other place you touch base. You said you coached in Pennsylvania and the Northeast a little bit. What sticks out about Lufkin? What do you think is different here than where you've been in the past?
The amount of people that care about Lufkin football. I mean, there's coaches on staff and there's kids on that are graduating this year. We had a kid come in the other day that's going to graduate this year. He's going to go to college. He wants to get his teaching certificate so that he can come back and be a coach for the Lufkin Panthers. I think I've coached in my 9 years now. I think I've coached maybe 4 or 5 kids that have become coaches, but it feels like we're going to have 10 that just come from Lufkin and maybe 10 that just come from Lufkin this year. We got guys on staff, Jabrice Taylor, Cordell Rogers, that all they want to do is be Lufkin Panthers. And I think that is such a special thing to have in a special place. And it shows through in the kids because the kids are fired up just the same as the coaches are, and then you got some of the old timers that want to come around that have been a part of Lufkin football for years and years and years since before I was born that bleed purple and gold. they care so much about Lufkin football.
And that tradition never stops, no matter what. And like you said, Cordell Rogers, Jabrise Taylor, and the many more guys that are from Lufkin that coach football. There's a lot of guys out there that wore the purple, the LP, the pack, whatever you want to call it, and they still are coaching football and around the football, and they still talk about Lufkin. It's a great place. Any kid in the program should take advantage of being a Lufkin Panther. It's not about just lining up on Friday nights. It goes the rest of your life. You get to know you wore that purple. Your kids will get the chance to wear that purple if you're still here, and it means something. It means more than just football in this town.
Right. And I mean, as a guy from not the state of Texas, where I came to, when I moved here, the only school that I had ever heard of was Allen. I mean, that's what you hear about from outside the state of Texas. But you see Friday Night Lights, and you hear about Permian, and then you see the TV show, and that's what it feels like. Like on Friday nights, the town of Lufkin's going to shut down. They're going to show up. They're going to be at the game. And they're going to be really, really loud and be really, really excited about what we're going to put up, the product we're going to put on the field.
As far as you guys being new to Lufkin, what are some of the things you're looking for as far as the community getting back involved and being in the stand and supporting kids?
Come out and be loud and support the kids as often as you possibly can, whether that's in football, which obviously we have a vested interest in, but in the end, we have a vested interest in the kids. We care about the kids more than anything else. And so if that means that you come out and you support basketball too, great. If you come out and support baseball, great. If you come out and show up and you watch every bit of the Willie Ross relays, let's do it. I'm good. Come out and show up. Be supportive of the kids by showing them that you're there. The best ability is availability. So for you to show up and be supportive of the team in person, live, it goes a very, very long way.
That's great. And, we just got done with Willie Ross relays. Got to see a lot of those Lufkin kids that are going to be on the football field next year, showcase their talents on the track. And I'm a huge believer that track coordinates football.
Yes, sir.
If you play football, you need to run track.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We really started to take off offensively when at Barbers Hill we got the track program to the highest level. We won the area championship last year at Barbers Hill, and Barbers Hill's area is the Manvilles of the world and the Friendswood, who has great long distance runners and all that stuff. And we went in and we had to come in at least third in the 4x400 at the very, very end. And our kids went out and competed their butts off, and it shone through when they got on the football field, because now all of a sudden they have a lot more confidence, but they also have that knowledge of what it feels like to compete every single day. And track's so much different from football. It's a team sport according to the UIL, but really it's me versus you. I'm trying to beat you. And so when they figure that out, that, hey, I can go and compete with the best of the best no matter where they are, it makes football where I have not just me, but I have 10 other guys that know how to compete too, all going together. It makes it so much better, so much better.
You touch on track and all the other sports. As far as the game of football and the way the offensive scheme has changed, and you getting all the athletes you get at Lufkin now, how does that change your game as a coach?
It makes it really easy. We went into last year with some guys on our squad, and our idea was we have these 4 humans, and we're going to try to get them this many touches. And we went through the game plan of, all right, this guy gets this many, this guy gets this many, this guy gets this many, this guy gets this many. And then you go back, because part of the modern game now is being able to analyze yourself. And so you go in and look and you say, okay, we got this kid the ball 6 times and he had 2 touchdowns. We should give him the ball more. And so now you have that more pick and choose. Like, I want this ball to go to this. I need to make this kid make a play and see if they can go tackle him. And so with the amount of athletes they have, if we can find easy ways to get the ball from Jay to any of those receivers out there that line up and let them go be athletes in space, makes it hard on the defense. It's hard to defend 53 and 30 yards wide by 120 yards long. It's difficult. And we're going to make it as hard on them as possible.
And, you talk about Jay and all that, and you have some young guys coming up. How big is it at the middle school level, translate to the high school level, that the middle school is on the same path as the high school football team? We need to be working out the same, running the same plays, and getting involved with those middle school kids and the coaches also, to let them know one day you will be playing on Friday nights at John Allen Memorial Field.
Right.
It's just like you said, we talked about earlier, the 7th grade, you earn your stripes to go to the 8th grade,
right,
to become, the next level, all the way to becoming a varsity football player at Lufkin.
Right. No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's the most important thing that we do, is going down to the middle schools. I mean, in the last 4 years we had 33 weeks of middle school football. I missed 2 middle school football games in the entire time I was at Barbers Hill. And so for us, that shows you just how important that stuff is. I mean, I want them to know who I am. I want to be around them. I want to talk to them. I want them to know that we care about them and we love them, and that we really, really want them to be Lufkin Panthers and to show up and play football and play basketball and run track and play baseball and do all those things for the benefit of all those people that came before them. You know, those guys that still come back and watch and want to be a part of it. But the middle school is where everything is started. And really, it starts in even the youth leagues of getting them on the same page of everything's building toward Friday night. Everybody is working here to get to Friday night football at Lufkin High School. And then going to the middle school, you know, we went there this morning, watched the seventh graders work out, and they got after it. And those coaches do a really, really good job. But Thursday morning, 6:30, the middle school coach is going to come in and they're going to get the base install. Here it is. This is the offense we're going to run with the middle school. And so they're going to get to start with that and do that stuff and start putting their plan together for how they're going to be next year. And
as far as being a middle school coach and me not having any coaching experience or anything, you know, you say we go in, we get the basic install. Are we running some of the same terminology on the middle school level, or is it just basically lining up the same and doing the same things that we're going to do on Friday night?
Oh no, it's going to be the same terminology. This is top down. This is all they're going to have vertical alignment with what we're doing. They're going to call it the same way we call it. They're going to signal it the same way. They're going to do everything the same way we do it. So if we run a certain drill, they're going to run that drill. If we run a certain pass concept, they're going to run that pass concept. If we call a combo on a front side tackle on the guard to deuce, they're going to call a front side combo between the tackle and the guard to deuce. It's going to be all the same.
That's huge and everything. And like you said, start at the youth league, get working your way up. If you install something at a young age, you know, no matter if you're 7 or 8, when by the time you're 15, 16, line up on those Friday nights, you're going to know what you're doing. You're going to know this terminology by heart. You're going to know where to be. You're going to know your objective of the play, you know, your assignment basically.
Right.
If you started at a young age, you can't just wait until, you know, these kids are 14, 15 years old and like, okay, this is how we're going to start doing things. And, you know, in y'all's case, getting here when y'all did, y'all have time to try to prepare with the spring, get all your coaches here to learn those things. But those kids coming up, they need to realize how important it is to, you know, take this and understand it and, you know, keep it in your head. Because you're going to be doing this the rest of your career as you're a Lufkin Panther. Yeah,
there's no question. There's no question. They have to learn it from a young age. The more you hammer it home early, the easier it becomes as a varsity football player to go back to, oh yeah, I remember exactly how to do this. And then it becomes, it's not even thinking about, okay, what do I do on this? It's, I can look at a coverage and I can tell you what's going to happen. I can tell you if the ball is going to come to me or not. And just such a more in-depth knowledge of the game. You get a lot more involvement that way when you do have that base foundation.
Well, Coach Kuykendall, we thank you for coming on Live from the Pines, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday nights, you know, lead that Panther offense. And, you know, everybody watching, everybody, you know, wants to know what's Lufkin going to look like. And I think you gave a great brief description of what it's going to look like. And, you know, practice is open. You know, go watch practice. You know, spring game, be there in attendance and see the things that these guys have been working hard to put on and get our kids prepared for, because it's not an easy job or task. And, you know, not with the amount of time y'all have, but you got to make it happen.
No, I mean, the first coach that I ever worked with would talk about for every hour that you get to watch football on a Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, there's 100 man hours that go into making that thing happen, whether it be coaching it or whether it be the guy that films it on ESPN. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes that the kids are a big part of, the coaches are a big part of, the administration's a big part of. I mean, there's a lot of little things that are going to go into making Lufkin as successful as it possibly can be.
Well, Coach Kuykendall, we thank you for joining Live for the Pines tonight. If you're watching, listening live, please follow, like, and subscribe to all our socials. Before we go, I want to give a big shout out to our guys at Zilker Belts. We thank you guys for everything y'all do for Live from the Pines. Use discount code PINES936 for all online orders. Thank you guys for joining tonight. Thank you, Coach Kuykendall.
Appreciate you.